technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Welcome back to BCIT News. I'm Orchid Solang, and this is your news to 3:30. Now that it's flu season, government officials are making it a point to encourage people to get flu and COVID vaccinations. However, some locals are still hesitant to get the vaccination due to common flu misconceptions. Our reporter Gabriel Roy tells us more.
A lot of people harbor the misconception that they can still live well without vaccinations because sicknesses such as the flu simply go away. However, this could lead to serious consequences in the long run, especially in this ongoing flu season. Provincial Health Deputy Martin Lavoie stresses his thoughts on the matter.
But many people don't understand. Influenza is, one, it's a respiratory virus. It's not a gastrointestinal virus. So that's one misconception for many, even for some healthcare workers, unfortunately. And two, that it's a respiratory infection that can be severe, more likely to be severe in the high-risk groups, as we call them.
Lavoie believes that proper dissemination of information can improve people's understanding of influenza and COVID-19. Gabrielle Rui, BCIT News.
Housing for the middle class in Vancouver has shown a sharp decline. The Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation says the amount of middle-class housing has fallen 56% between 2018 and 2024. The report says those homes include multiplexes, row homes, and townhouses. It says high land costs in Vancouver could be reducing the success rate of smaller projects across the city, but especially in and around the downtown core. Indigenous Conservative House leader Aaliyah Warbis says a bill to ban the territorial land acknowledgements would have taken reconciliation backwards. She says the acknowledgements don't harm anyone.
I don't think we can deny our history, guys. We know exactly what has happened in this province and in Canada. And if we start to deny our history, then we can't move forward. So the truth is, Indigenous people who are here, these are the lands of the Lekwungen people. And it does not hurt anybody to acknowledge that fact.
One BC MLA, Dallas Brody, says land acknowledgements are a form of self-flagellation that encourage British Columbians to self-surrender their land and resources. Now for local stories on British Columbians. Kitsilano will soon host a Ukrainian play. Our reporter Gabe Liesi has more on the director bringing it to life.
Nadia Dobryanskaya is a local Ukrainian director preparing to stage a play based on a famous Russian poem. She drew inspiration from Alexander Pushkin's Lukomorye, a Slavic fairy tale about fantastical beasts. Dobryanskaya remembers Russian literature being commonplace growing up in the Soviet Union. She hopes that people will see a benefit in exposure to unknown cultures amidst the current geopolitical times.
We are trying to tell people that we are here, we're not evil, we like to create. Come learn about us so that maybe you won't fear us as much.
Kitsilano Theatre will be hosting 2 Russian performances on Sunday, October 26th, and 1 English performance on Thursday, October 30th. Gabe Liesi, BCIT News.
Vancouver actor Ryan Lino got to explore his Filipino roots in the short film 3 Ates and a Wedding. Keone Mo has more on the significance of connecting with your culture and community.
Vancouver actor Ryan Lino says one of his most fulfilling roles has been getting to work with an entirely Filipino cast. In the short film 3 Ates and a Wedding, Lino plays MC Joey. The film was also featured in the 28th Vancouver Asian Film Festival. He says that the role allowed him to explore his culture alongside his castmates.
It was really fulfilling to be able to work with people from the Filipino community, and it just felt so at home to be able to really tell a story that was authentically Filipino and, really tap into the culture.
Lino hopes to take part in horror and action as his next steps in his acting career. Keone Mo, BCIT News.
Moving into national news, Canada Post Workers Union loses challenge of back-to-work order. The government ordered an end to the postal workers' strike last December, with the Canadian Union of Postal Workers arguing that the order was unconstitutional. The CUPW questioned whether striking workers' charter rights had been violated. The Canadian Industrial Relations Board found the right to strike is, quote, essential but not absolute. The board ultimately concluded that the government's back-to-work order does not violate the charter. They also found it does not have the authority to review the minister's direction to suspend the workers' right to strike. Mark Carney says Canada will announce its new climate competitiveness strategy when his government tables its first budget on November 4th. The strategy is expected to mark a shift in Canada's climate policies. Carney has said he is prioritizing results over emissions targets, with an emphasis on the economy. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith warned the Parliamentary Committee that Canada is seeing an energy investment leave the country for the United States. She cited that Liberal government's proposed emissions cap, its ban on large oil tankers off the BC coast, and the clean electricity regulations, which are all policies that the oil and gas sector has called on Ottawa to repeal. An envoy to Mexico says U.S. President Donald Trump is unrealistic with expectations to build U.S. cars without Canadian parts. Cameron McKay, Canada's ambassador to Mexico, says the Senate Foreign Affairs Committee that it's simply not possible for the United States to make cars all by itself in the near term. The Trump administration has repeatedly said it wants to manufacture vehicles with few foreign parts, with Trump telling Prime Minister Mark Carney that Americans don't want to buy cars made in Canada. McKay says that while the U.S. has levied tariffs on various vehicles and components, there are still American companies that can only get American parts that can only get from Canada and Mexico. Ontario Premier Doug Ford says he has full confidence in Carney's talks with the U.S., noting the delicate nature of negotiating with Trump. U.S. President Donald Trump says he's not concerned with the Israeli parliament's symbolic vote on West Bank annexation.
Don't worry about the West Bank. Israel's not going to do anything with the West Bank, okay? Don't worry about it. Is that your question? They're not going to do anything with the West Bank. Don't worry about it.
Short-form content has seen major changes over the last month, with OpenAI updating their text-based video generator, Sora. Reporter Elijah Ford has the latest on the details of this new technology and who it may affect.
Social media platforms have seen a rapid increase in AI-generated content since the start of October. On the first of the month, OpenAI made new advancements in their video generator Sora, giving creators the ability to make 1080p shorts up to a minute long by simply typing what they would like to see. This has left some people concerned about the future of creative art careers. Executive Director of the BC Plus AI Association, Chris Krug, believes these concerns are applicable to other industries even more so than content creation.
But I think they assume that, it's just going to kill the whole creative arts or media and publishing. I don't think that those industries are any more susceptible than all the other industries across the board, including, accountants, legal professionals, software engineers.
According to their website, OpenAI is projected to hit 1 billion users by the end of 2025. Elijah Ford, BCIT News.
Now for sports. An NBA coach and player have been placed on leave following their arrest in separate gambling schemes. Correspondent Gethin Coolbaugh has more.
The NBA says it's placing Portland Trail Blazers coach Chauncey Billups and Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier on immediate leave after their Thursday arrests, along with more than 30 others in alleged sprawling gambling schemes. FBI Director Kash Patel.
It's not thousands of dollars. It's not tens of thousands of dollars. It's not even millions of dollars. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars in fraud and theft and robbery.
Billups was charged with participating in a conspiracy to fix high-stakes card games that were backed by La Cosa Nostra crime families. Rozier was accused in a second scheme to concoct fraudulent bets by exploiting confidential information about NBA athletes and teams. Also arrested was former NBA assistant coach and player Damon Jones, who is charged with participating in both schemes. A league statement says, quote, "The integrity of our game remains our top priority." I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
More on sports betting. Sports gambling is officially coming to the college ranks, but with a twist.
The NCAA approved a rule change on Wednesday that will allow athletes and athletic department staff members to bet on professional sports. 2 weeks after the Division I cabinet approved the change, Division II and III management councils signed off on it, allowing the new rule to go into effect November 1st. This doesn't change the NCAA rule which forbids athletes from betting on college sports. The NCAA also prohibits sharing information about college competitions with bettors. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
The Toronto Blue Jays are preparing to face the Los Angeles Dodgers in Game 1 of the World Series tomorrow. Jays manager John Schneider was asked about what's viewed as a David and Goliath matchup against the Dodgers.
Two best teams left standing, built differently, have different strengths. Man, there's a reason we're here and there's a reason they're there. You know, I think the one thing we cannot do is look over there and say that is Goliath. That is a beatable baseball team that has its flaws and that has its really, really good strengths.
Game 2 is this Saturday in Toronto, before the Blue Jays head west for Games 3, 4, and 5 if necessary. Sticking with the Blue Jays, Prime Minister Mark Carney and Ontario Premier Doug Ford are both predicting the Toronto Blue Jays will win the World Series in 6 games. Ford says he'll be watching Friday's Game 1 at home.
I'm going to be sitting in my man cave because I'm not paying whatever $1,500 for a ticket. And by the way, those ticket gougers, they're going to pay the price. We're going to get to them. But I'm going to sit out in the man cave and watch the game.
Carney will be in Asia at the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit and will be watching from his, quote, man cave overseas. The Super Bowl in Friday will now have an all-star component in the week leading up to America's biggest sporting event. Correspondent Gethin Coolbaugh is back with more.
The NFL is moving its Pro Bowl festivities to Super Bowl week beginning this February. Commissioner Roger Goodell announced the change Wednesday at the league's annual fall owners meeting. The plan is to hold the Pro Bowl games on Tuesday, February 3rd in the Bay Area. It remains a flag football game between the AFC and NFC. The league is hoping to take advantage of increased interest in flag football ahead of the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. The 49ers are hosting the Super Bowl on Sunday, February 8th in Santa Clara, California. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
I would recommend this program for anyone that isn't sure what kind of job they want in media, because you learn everything from like public relations to communications to video editing, like radio, TV. So you do get a lot of experience in all the different fields in media.